Welcome to I Have Issues, a comic book show where I talk about comic book related subjects that piss me off or just annoy me to some degree. Now, most of you are familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been dominating the theaters for the last decade with almost 20 movies making up a huge universe of characters. From Captain America to Doctor Strange, from the Guardians of the Galaxy to Spider-Man, it's a well-made, entertaining series of movies that have left a huge impact on cinema. But its other half has had no such luck. It's time to talk about the DCEU and some of the major mistakes they've made. And I think the best way to do that is look at its first big misstep, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Now you might have thought I needed to start with Man of Steel, but personally I don't hate Man of Steel like I hate BVS. Man of Steel was a stumbling block, sure, but a flawed first step isn't enough of a reason to think the DCEU's future is doomed. BVS, however, took that future, kicked in its teeth, and then grinded it into the dust. It's a dark, grim, and gritty mess that just isn't a whole lot of fun to sit through, and it just happened to set the tone for almost every movie and series in the DCEU. It wants to go for this dark, edgy tone that just doesn't work for a comic book movie. Comics can be dark, they can be edgy, but at the end of the day, they are silly. They are in some way fun. This is a movie about a guy who dresses in a bat suit running around punching bad guys. It's a movie where the strongest hero on the planet is somehow able to hide behind a pair of shitty glasses. Superheroes are a silly idea, and that's okay. You can still enjoy them. Hell, I still do, or I wouldn't be making this show. Ever since that movie, the majority of DC's cinematic experiments have had this overly dark tone. That's the issue with Suicide Squad and Justice League, before they went back in to add some fucking humor, and you see it spreading to their newest projects with the dark and edgy version of Titans they're going to be airing soon. But the thing is, it's already been proven that that doesn't work. With those last two examples I mentioned, they were originally billed as these dark and serious tone movies. But what happened? They saw how poorly that was received in BVS and went into reshoots to add some humor to it all. It didn't end up helping them. The humor is what most people remember, but it's all buried and weighed down by the rest of the movie. The only real exception was Wonder Woman, and I attribute that to having a different writer and director, and having Zack Snyder, the director of BVS and most of Justice League, stay far away from the project. But if they learned that it didn't work, why keep pushing for it? Why keep trying for this dark tone for all of your properties? Really, I don't have a solid answer for it. I just know that I'm tired of it. Superhero movies are silly by nature, but just because you embrace that silliness doesn't mean your movie is inferior. You can still be a great movie with a darker plot while showcasing the ridiculous side of the comics. Just an example off the top of my head, look at Thor Ragnarok. That movie is goofy, fun as hell, and embraces the sillier side of its source material. But it's also the movie that features the death of Odin, the destruction of Asgard, and the goddess of death killing a bunch of people. It's got its share of dark and serious plot points, but it knows how to use them with the sillier side to take advantage of both. DC, on the other hand, ignores that completely and has things like this. Fuck Batman. And until DC learns that that mindset is flawed, the DCEU will never really hit the peak they want to or that it's honestly capable of, because it could have potentially been bigger than Marvel ever was. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are some of, if not the biggest draws when it comes to superheroes. You do those three right, and DC could have knocked it out of the park and did better than Marvel ever dreamed of. But at this point, I don't think they'll ever reach the heights they so desperately want. Some of their future projects seem to be moving in the right direction. Shazam and Aquaman both look like fun movies, and I hope they stuck to that when making them. I'm looking forward to seeing both because honestly, I want these movies to succeed. I love superhero movies, and with Marvel's grand epic drawing to a close, our superhero films have to come from somewhere. So here's hoping DC gets it right in the future, and we can enjoy the next big wave of superhero blockbusters. And that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll come back next month, because next month we're taking a break from superhero comics to do something a bit different.
Strap on your fantasy seatbelts and brace your asses for the Adventure Zone.